for Westminster has 1 touchdown pass as well, but his percentage leaving something to be desired at 9 of 20 in the first half. The kickoff from Chiquilo, handled at about the 7-yard line by Calhoun. Runs into his own man at the 25, and that's where he'll go down.
Just a really efficient offensive first half for Case Western Reserve. You know, like we mentioned, they had the ball for 10 minutes and 22 seconds. And they only had 6 third-down situations the entire first half. Were able to convert 3 of them. No turnovers, just 2 penalties. That's definitely going to help that turnover margin ratio look a little bit better, as it's been so good for Case over the last calendar month.
Kuda's in a shotgun pistol look with Aguilar and Burke in the backfield. The give is to Jacob Burke. About 8 yards on that carry on the first play from scrimmage in the second half.
He's staying true to his numbers for the first 30 minutes of the game. Burke giving him 8.6 yards a carry. He's ran the ball 12 times, ran it a season high 27 times a game ago, and they will continue to rely heavily on number 23.
3 wide set. Burke again, and he was tripped up shy of the line to gain. Might have lost a yard on that play, if not back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down.
They spotted it pretty far back there, about 3rd and about 1.5 yards.
He'll get it anyway. Jacob Burke failed the first time, passes the second time.
You see the speed with which this Spartans offense is working, and urgency to get to the line of scrimmage.
Beatrice gets in the backfield, as does Fitzgerald, and it's Fitzgerald to get the sack. John Fitzgerald, his 4th sack of the year.
And just the first sack allowed by either team. And the offensive lines on both ends have played really, really well, and you combine solid protection with great quarterback mobility, and you're not going to see too many of those sacks every now and then, but that was really one that Westminster needed because their defense is on the field once again.
That's a 9-yard loss. 2nd and 19 from the 29. Handoff Burke, off tackle left, gets around Beatrice, gets to the edge, and run out past the 40 by Kimu Kim.
Well, that's just how confident the Spartans are in their running game. When you need 19 yards, the running play is still in full effect because this is an explosive rushing attack with Burke and Miles Anthony and company. There are so many different ways that they can go about getting a long first down when the situation occurs.
That's a pickup of 14 yards on 2nd down and 19. 3rd and 5 from the 43. Three down linemen. Kuda will pass. It's in the turf. Looking for Aguilar. Pressure came from the defensive end, Bobby Noble, the senior from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Got the hit on Kuda and forced the incompletion. 4th down and the punting unit coming out. Well, we'd like to thank our terrific crew for all they've done this year. Brian Landers, Brian Trail on the cameras today. Davey Barris on the video replay, and our director, who has been here every game this year, Mike Becker. Also a big thanks to Shayna Perlman and Reggie Carter, who aren't here today, but who have helped us this year as well. Salwan with a good punt. Paulinelli will field it, and he will set up field position at the 23-yard line.
You know, and Andrew, when you think of the fact that Westminster had the ball for almost 20 minutes in the first half and are only able to come away with 10 points, that kind of tells me that the offense is operating at a slow but methodical pace. And I think if the Spartans are going to make an adjustment defensively in the locker room at halftime, they're probably going to want to watch out more for the big play attempts that Westminster is going to try to get themselves back into the game.
Colombo maybe looking for the big play, going deep to Connor Cox. He makes the catch near midfield. Went up with Adrian Cannon and won the battle.
Yeah, and they definitely did not wait to open up the playbook right there. A deep throw right in front of their sideline, and it's a good, crisp spiral from Colombo. Nice, clean pocket. Everything is there. And an even better grab right in front of the out-of-bounds markers.
But a flag flew on the play, and it will come all the way back. That is disappointing for Westminster.
Yeah, definitely a heartbreaking situation for them right there. We just saw very few, if any, deep throws and some risks taken deep down the field by Colombo, and you get the first one, but it gets wiped out. You just have to come back strong.
1st and 15 from the 19 after the flag. Pass in the flat to Dylan Goff. Patrick Crossy right there to ride him out.
Yeah, Patrick Crossy's had a pretty good season, been in and out of the starting lineup, but the second half of the season has been a whole lot better for him. Just the sophomore out of Plum Senior in Pittsburgh, really taking and going under the wing of guys like Cody Calhoun and Adrian Cannon, and learning a lot from those two very excellent secondary players.
28-10 Spartans, 2nd and 12 from the 22. Under 12 to play in the 3rd quarter. Colombo dropping back. And the pass behind Goff tips off of his hands and past Zach Lyon, who had visions of an interception in his head.
Well, and speaking of visions, I think it was Colombo that really didn't take his eye off of the target right there, even though despite the throw being less than on the spot, the Spartans were definitely able to read the quarterback's eyes there and know right where he was going with the football had the catch been made in the first place.
Snap from Colombo on 3rd and 12. Pressure coming from Brown. Pass over the middle through the hands of Christian Caldwell. Incomplete, and it's 4th down.
Well, you give Westminster credit because they are starting to take some more risks deep down the field, but probably a risk that could have turned ugly for the Titans. That's a lot of Spartan helmets right there in the area, and just one Westminster receiver in the vicinity of the football. A big risk taken, and it did not pay off.
4th and 12. Punt coming from Joe Salmon. High arcing punt. Fan will fair catch it at his own 45-yard line. Big thanks to all the case sponsors, including the Courtyard Marriott on Euclid Avenue. Make your reservation today by calling 216-791-5678.
Andrew, I definitely say that Justin Fan probably learned his lesson about fair catching the football after that last hit, as we remember. Definitely not an opportunity there to return the ball anyways.
Kuda takes over. Burke in the backfield with Aguilar. 3 wide set. Handoff is to Burke. Wrestled down after a gain of about 4 yards. The takedown made by Bill Medea. 2nd and 6 from the 49. Burke again. Near the 1st down. This time Paul Gonzalez helps out on the stop.
You see a lot of players, lowering the shoulder, trying to bring Burke to a halt. But, if you're going to bring a big guy who's a running back at 200-plus pounds down, you just have to aim low. You have to go for the legs and hope to stop him that way, because you're not going to win the battle comparing him with upper body strength.
On 3rd and 1, Burke twisting forward. Flag flies on the near side. Burke close to the yard marker to gain. Had to get to the 45. Who was the flag against? It was thrown by the line judge, Tom Trilly. Unsportsmanlike. Going against Westminster. 1st down for the Spartans. I'm not sure if they would have had the 1st down or not based on the spot, but that seals it.
And I think the guilty party was number 9, Bobby Noble, because I saw 2 hands in the air. A very guilty pose, if you ask me. So it gets the Spartans the first, and they move the chains.
1st down from the 30. Aguilar now the lone setback. 7 in the box. Aguilar up the middle for a short gain. Having a little trouble pulling up the live stats for the Thomas More and Teal game. We'll see what we can do for you there. We told you about the importance of that game, the Washington and Jefferson game, and the Grove City-Bethany game to the Spartans' playoff hopes. Well, the Thomas More game won't matter if Washington and Jefferson loses, and they're hanging by a thread, leading 17-10 against Geneva, one of the best running teams in the country, running the triple option. Kuda keeping it, and he is taken down by the defensive tackle Tyler Beatrice on a second down run. So that's the score, 17-10 in the opening minutes of the second half. The Presidents leading Geneva. As for Bethany and Grove City, Bethany leading Grove City 29-14 in the second quarter. Spartans would like Grove City to win and Thomas More to lose in absence of a Washington and Jefferson loss. And again, we'll get you a Thomas More score if and when we can. Burke on the run on 3rd and 5. He'll get the first down inside the 20 to the 18.
Spartans did take care of business on 3rd down with some pretty good success in the first half, and you would definitely expect that to continue with Burke running the ball as well as he is. And if you're Westminster, you have to know what the Spartans are going to do. You know, pretty obvious the direction that they're going on 3rd down situation. Have to stop number 23.
Ball spotted at the 18-yard line. Burke on the handoff. He gets stuffed. Austin Chin, the sophomore defensive end from Boca Raton, Florida, comes up to meet him. The spot is 1 yard back at the 19. So a 1 yard loss.
And already, Andrew, this has probably been the longest drive that the Spartans have had all game, considering that we're almost halfway through the 3rd quarter.
By the way, update on the Thomas More game, 49-7, the Saints leading Teal with under 7 to play in the 4th quarter. So that one is pretty much finished. Burke with the run on 2nd and 11 as the Spartans play conservatively up by 18. Or the pass out into the flat, excuse me. Still the short gain for Burke.
Well, and the pace of the Spartans opened up the 3rd quarter running is something we're not particularly used to seeing them go at. You know, we're really used to that run and gun, hurry up to the line of scrimmage type of style, but this one has been much more slower but methodical, being very strategic with taking time off of the clock, and you can afford to do that with an 18-point lead.
Well, now the Spartans will call their first time out of the second half. 3rd and 9 from the 17. Miles Anthony had checked in at running back after the pass to Burke. And the Spartans will decide how they want to play this 3rd and 9. They're deep into Westminster territory. They are within Ben Carniol's field goal range. So do you go for the first down and risk maybe a sack, risk an interception, take a couple of risks that may or may not be worth it, or do you go to the ground, perhaps pick up the first down, but if not, at least maybe run it back toward the middle, make it a straightaway field goal attempt, and eat away a couple of yards.
And something that's also an option, knowing how the Spartans love to roll the dice on 4th down, maybe it's even 4-down territory. You know, 4-down territory isn't limited to when you're down big. Sometimes it can even be when you're up big as well. Just take more time off the clock and roll the dice. When you got an 18-point lead, you know, you can definitely afford to push your chips to the front of the table.
Kuda will pass. He'll look, end zone, tipped and caught into the end zone, Zach Hurd. What a grab on second effort.
Wow, this is really an incredible play by Zach Hurd. This is a guy whose best asset is his speed, but this time it's his hands that's able to get the Spartans the touchdown, and this was sort of close to an interception, but again, how many times we've seen second effort plays cashing in for Case Western Reserve. An excellent concentration by Hurd. He has become really an all-purpose wide receiver for the Spartans.
Carniol's kick is good. Miguel Luis was the man who came in and made the initial pass defense. Zach Hurd was able to stay with it, make the catch on his knees in the end zone, then got plastered by Travis Loster Didn't matter. Touchdown Spartans 35-10.
And Andrew, there were two things that Zach Hurd had to do in order to give the Spartans the touchdown and Rob Kuda his second touchdown pass. A, he has to concentrate on the ball because the ball is in the air, and B, he's got to brace for impact as well. Took a big hit. They tried to jar the ball loose, but the strength of Zach Hurd holding on to the football. Fifth touchdown offensively for the Spartans in 2.5 quarters. That is excellent production against really one of the better defenses that they've seen on their schedule.
Another touchdown for Zach Hurd, who now has 4 on the year, and he has touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. That's fumbled by Zaire Williams, dropped the kickoff, but recovers and gets it out near the 25. Cody Calhoun helping out on the tackle. So Case up big now. And you would imagine Paul Colombo will be forced to go to the air a little bit more in this drive.
I would have to believe so. You know, we definitely saw that on their opening drive of this quarter. It was really the first play that they threw about a 30-plus yard bomb down the left side of the field. But we'll definitely have to see more of that. I mean, you just cannot be one-dimensional against the Spartans team because they will make you pay.
Here's a handoff to Zaire Williams on the first down run.
But regardless, Andrew, of what they do decide to do, if they decide to continue to commit to the run or go to the air, you know number 15 is going to be in the mix.
2nd and 4, flags come in. False start on Westminster. Boy, does that hurt when you need to get these points back.
There's been too many of those, especially on Westminster's case. It seems like at the exact time where they get a big play, it gets wiped out by a penalty. I mean, that's just terrible timing in the penalty department. If you're Westminster, that's something you must clean up before the game finishes.
2nd and 9, they'll pass it to Connor Cox for a first down. Got a step inside on Adrian Cannon and makes the catch on the brand new turf at DeSanto Field, which celebrates its first football season coming to a close today. Colombo looking left for Paulinelli on the sideline, and Colombo starting to find a rhythm. Shy of the first down by a yard, 2nd down and 1.
Yeah, that's 2 passes in a row. Colombo has completed with some authority, and this receiver tiptoeing his way inbounds for a first down play.
This pass to Paulinelli again. He splits a couple tacklers and inside enemy territory. Crossy and Cannon bring him down past the 40 to the 36.
This is going to have to be a fire that the Spartans are going to want to throw some water on before the flame gets too bright.
Colombo looking deep. Paulinelli just outside of his reach. Had a half step on Cannon and the ball was delivered almost perfectly.
Well, I think Cannon, does an excellent job. If you realize and recognize that your receiver has beat you by a step, sometimes that's where the pass interference penalties come into play. But Adrian Cannon just did not panic that time. I think that was the key to that play defensively by Cannon. Good no call there.
2nd and 10 from the 37. Fake handoff, quarterback keeper on the option. Colombo gets to the outside and ridden out. 3rd down, and it'll be about 3 yards to go off the run by Colombo. He gets to the 30. Under 6 to play in the 3rd quarter. 35-10 Case. This is a must-score drive for Westminster. Looks like they'll switch things up. 15 seconds on the play clock. Colombo drops back. Pressure coming from Brown. Colombo is sacked. Dan Techman, 4th down.
Well, Colombo felt pressure coming from one area. He makes the adjustment, but the problem was the adjustment backfired there. It was Brown that set that up, and then Techman gets a right hand on him, and that was enough to bring down the senior quarterback. So I think no amount of athletic ability or agility was going to get Colombo out of that one. Just had to get rid of the football, but the Spartans got there first.
That tackle might have been horse collar adjacent,
Possibly.
but no call, and a great one-hand tackle. Play out of the Spartan playbook. Fake punt pass from Salmon, incomplete. Turnover on downs.
Yeah,
They went for it on 4th and 11.
And we did, Andrew. We did see that formation just before the half, but Westminster decided not to go for it there. So again, the key here was they gave the Spartans a look at this earlier in the game when the Spartans recognized it. I mean, so that just, it didn't get the job done for Westminster, and you just cannot do that with Case. They are so good at making in-game adjustments.
You know, you and I talked about that in the break, where they bunched 3 men to the near side, and it looked like a punt fake potential formation. This time they go with it, and the Spartans had it covered. 1st and 10 from the 38. Under 5 to go in the 3rd quarter, and that was a big stop by Case. Kuda looks right side. Incomplete, looking for Orsini. By the way, talking about that Hurd touchdown, the last drive for Case, this is the 2nd week in a row where he has made a terrific touchdown catch. Remember last week, back corner of the end zone against WashU St. Louis, in the back left made that diving catch.
Yeah, he's really expanded his horizons, become so much more of a versatile receiver. Still an excellent deep threat, but a guy who can catch the ball over the middle also.
Handoff Burke, off tackle left on 2nd and 10, taken down by Tyler Green, the sophomore out of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, playing in his 6th game. Didn't start the year as a regular, now has made his way onto the 2 deep. Gain of 4, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, and this quarter in general, Andrew, might not be as high scoring as the first 2 for Case, but offensively I think you're still feeling just as good, not just because you have 7 more points on the board, but because you are taking a lot of time off the clock. This is an offense that saw the field for just 10 minutes and 22 seconds in the first half. They've just about seen that here in the 3rd quarter alone.
Now Kuda, Fan has a step and makes the grab inside the 35.
And it's been a bit of a quiet day for Justin Fan, but he is always waiting to explode here into the secondary, and it really only takes one play for Fan to get open and for Kuda to find his most experienced wide receiver.
Not easy to get past the senior cornerback Todd Jeter, who leads the conference with 5 interceptions, 2 of which have been returned for a touchdown. But if anybody can do it on this Spartan wide receiving core, it's Justin Fan, the junior. Ball on the 30. Fake handoff. Kuda looking to run. Steps away from a sack and throws it just too far for Aguilar. A penalty flag flies. It looks like a late hit on Rob Kuda, and it'll go against Tyler Beatrice. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Let's take a look.
Well, Kuda's agility just to escape the pressure there is a really unique gift and an asset to his game, but we weren't quite able to see it in that picture there, but a pretty easy call for the officiating crew. And, you know, if you're ever giving the Spartans extra yardage, especially when you're in enemy territory, that is a big, big no-no on the Titans' part.
You could just see Beatrice, number 60, barreling through at the end of that play before the screen cut to the football. And he made the late hit. Anthony off left tackle. Handled by the inside linebacker, Bill Medea. Bill Medea, an inside linebacker this year. Last year, he was also a running back. Scored 5 touchdowns, including 1 against the Spartans. He has a tackle for a loss there, 2nd and 11 from the 16.
Westminster definitely does have a lot of versatile athletes, guys that can play multiple positions.
Two running backs, 3 wide. Protection change, 3 on the play clock. Now 1 on the play clock, they get it off. Burke up the middle. Might have gotten 1 back to the original line. Tackle made by Brendan DeLuca.
I think the interesting question coming up here on 3rd and 10 as we reach the final couple minutes of the third quarter is what's more important at this time in the game? Is it more points or is it more time coming off of the clock? Spartans actually spreading things out a little bit here, giving Westminster a different look at the very least.
4 wide receivers set as DiFrancesco joins Fan, Medved, and Orsini. Now they'll split out Burke as well and empty the backfield. Here's pressure coming and a sack uncontested. Paul Gonzalez with his 2nd sack of the year.
Yeah, uncontested to say the least. One of a rare times where the Spartan offensive line didn't pick up the blitz very well there. At the very least, though, it keeps the clock rolling. The Spartans, I think, were probably looking for something close to the end zone there, so they did decide to play it aggressive as opposed to the rest of this possession, which for the most part has been pretty conservative and on the ground. This offense does not appear to be going anywhere either.
The referee's sorting things out now. They have not changed it from 3rd down to 4th down. I'm not so sure if we missed a flag on that play, Eddie.
I didn't see one.
I didn't see one either.
But it very likely could be a replay of the down.
Well, they'll push the ball up even now. Kudo will look to the end zone. He will pass, and it's broken up. Aaron Pierce knocking it away from Giuseppe Orsini.
Yeah, definitely think that the play before definitely would have had to have been a Westminster penalty, considering that they moved the ball up and replayed the down, but
that is the case. Taking a look at the play-by-play, John Schwartz, the sports information director and company in the press box to our left, holding penalty on Aaron Pierce on that sack, and so no play, but now 4th and 2, and the kicking unit comes out. Carniol to kick it away. 25-yard kick. It is true. So Ben Carniol makes it 38-10 Spartans. 1:49 left to go in the third quarter.
Inova Living is a modern, amenity-rich residential community located in Cleveland's Greater University Circle neighborhood, offering studio, 1- and 2-bedroom apartment homes. Enjoy all-inclusive living with convenient on-site shopping, 24-hour concierge services, a 24-hour fitness center, resident lounge, and more. All within close proximity to Case Western Reserve University. Inova Living online at inovaliving.com.
So the field goal by Ben Carniol through the uprights. Spartans on top 38-10. Quinn Salwan to kick this away. 1:49 to go in the third quarter. Kick towards Zaire Williams, but out of bounds. Illegal procedure penalty on Salwan. So it'll be good field position for Westminster College after a turnover on downs on a drive that just stalled in Case territory. Paul Colombo looked like he was in a pretty good rhythm for maybe the second, third time in this game. He's kind of had fits and starts of getting in rhythm with his receivers, and then all of a sudden they just got stopped short and turned the ball over on downs trying to go for it on a fake punt play on 4th and 11. The Spartans marched downfield, took a lot of time off the clock, and got the field goal.
Yeah, it's not that this Titans team hasn't had success offensively. They've been able to move the ball. It's just scoring points has just been a different story for them.
First field goal of the day for Carniol. Colombo over the middle. Connor Cox almost had a brilliant catch. Incomplete.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a play that you're going to want to see again, because this could have gotten them big-time yardage and a big-time throw, fully extended, but when he comes to the ground, just not enough fingers on the football. It was that close to being a huge gainer for Westminster.
If he hadn't clipped his fingernails on Thursday, he might have had it. the perils of proper grooming. Passed out to the far side for Paulinelli. That is near a first down, but not quite. Third down and short. They'll mark it 2 yards shy. Well, a big thank you to the Spartan sponsors, including Innova Living, located within minutes of Case Western Reserve University's campus and offering studio, 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes. Enjoy all-inclusive living with 24-hour concierge service, 24-hour fitness center, resident lounge, and more. That's a first down run on 3rd and 2. Out to midfield. Zaire Williams on the carry.
You know, they have tried many different things to try to get Zaire Williams the football in space, but mostly he's really had his impact on the ground. But I think in order to try to get back into this contest, they're going to have to go to him through the air, you know, whether it's a bubble screen or a little out route. Have to get number 15 the ball, but it's a different situation down 28.
Paul Colombo frustrated. Another false start penalty on his offensive line. Eddie, we just talked about how they were in a rhythm and the drive stalled. And whether it's been penalties or sacks or incompletions at inopportune times, something, it seems, has stalled this Westminster offense at the wrong times when they need a score.
And really the thing of it is it only takes one. I mean, you could be marching down the field with all authority, but one penalty can just obliterate your rhythm.
Well, now 1st and 15, and Colombo looking deep, batted away by Kevin Chrisis.
Yeah, Chrisis has really improved throughout the course of the year, and he's letting them know about it too. That's when you're giving the inside of the field to a receiver, you want to use your left hand, and that is the exact hand that Chris has stuck in there to break this pass up. And you see Westminster going deep once again, but textbook coverage and textbook use of the hands by the young underclassman defensive back.
That was in search of the freshman Nick Henderson. Now McKinley up the middle. He'll make up for it. That's a first down run inside the 40.
Probably a guy they want to get more involved too. A guy, you know, McKinley can definitely get in a rhythm at a moment's notice as well in the ground game.
16-yard gain. Pass out to the flat. DeAndre Jansen splits in between Chrisis and Calhoun down the sideline near the 10. They'll spot it just inside the 15, it looks like.
Yeah, I would say that Westminster, whatever they did, they were able to reestablish their rhythm after that penalty. So I think it is going to take the Spartans stepping up to try to put an end to this drive and get a stop as we go to quarter number 4.
So this will put an end to the third quarter of play. Spartans 38, Westminster College 10 at DeSanto Field.
Innova Living is a modern, amenity-rich residential community located in Cleveland's Greater University Circle neighborhood, offering studio, 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes. Enjoy all-inclusive living with convenient on-site shopping, 24-hour concierge services, a 24-hour fitness center, resident lounge, and more. All within close proximity to Case Western Reserve University. Innova Living online at innovaliving.com.
Spartans 38, Westminster College 10. Into the fourth quarter we go. And Westminster has been driving. They'll have first down on the Spartan 14 after a first down by DeAndre Jansen. They are determined to get into the end zone on this drive, and I don't know if it's too early to think onside kick, but they have a lot of points to make up. Now the head referee, Jacques Taquar, is going to have a chat with head coach Scott Benzel in his 4th season as the head man for Westminster College. We're ready again. They'll look end zone in the direction of Cannon, who makes the interception. Adrian Cannon stepped in front of the wide receiver, Bryson Paulinelli, and makes the pick in a big spot.
Boy, and how consistent has the coverage of Adrian Kahneman. I mean, he has solidified himself as a lockdown corner. Maybe a little bit of contact with the hands, coincidentally up front, but Cannon using those hands in turn to pick the ball out of the air. I mean, he really has established himself as a guy that's just going to shut his opposing wide receiver down. You just really cannot throw the ball in his direction very often.
This has to be frustrating for the aforementioned head coach, Scott Benzel. Fourth-year man, 1997 graduate of Mercyhurst College, and leading a Westminster team that's had a great year, has a lot of promise coming into next year. You look at their starting lineup, and there are quite a few youngsters in there. Not all that many seniors, certainly not as many as the Spartans have. They come into today at 6-2 overall, and even if they lose this game, down 38-10 in the fourth quarter, their only losses still would be to ranked teams. The Spartans ranked 16th in the nation. A lot to build on for this team, but it must be frustrating right now given how well they played against the other ranked teams they've faced. Burke on the rush on 2nd and 7, gets stuffed. You look back at the other teams they've played that were ranked. Number 12, Wittenberg, they only lost by 6 points, 20-14 at home on the first game of the season. Number 15, Washington and Jefferson, they took to overtime. And the Spartans are all over Westminster. On the flip side, though, you have to think this looks favorable for the Spartans if they lose out on the tiebreakers for the conference championship and the automatic qualifier. If they lose that to Washington and Jefferson, to pour it on against Westminster would look very good for them if the committee's looking at this game. Kuda hands off to Burke on 3rd and 6, and a flag flies from the back. That would have been a yard short. The field judge, Darren Bauer, threw the flag. Spartans clapping. Face mask.
I was going to say, Spartans seem to think that it's on the defense. And actually, Andrew, we were talking about this with John Schwartz earlier in the week. We are fully predicting and prepared for Rob Kuda to play his first fourth quarter of the entire season. And even at up 28 points, you know, Coach Deb's definitely not going to take him out of this game because they know how important this game is. And not only that, but the score. You have to make the score look really good to the team that is ranking these teams come playoff time.
First down after the penalty. Ball spotted on the 44-yard line. 10 seconds left to go in this play clock. They're letting the clock melt away. Handoff Miles Anthony. Off right tackle. A lot of lateral movement for about a 4-yard pickup before he's taken down by John Fitzgerald, the defensive tackle. Well, a 38-10 win would look really good for Case, given how good Westminster's been this year. And the Spartans do not get a lot of favors for their strength of schedule, so beating up on a good team after they, according to the committee, really hadn't been tested, according to the numbers and strength of schedule hadn't been tested. They've been tested. They've come out on top today. 2nd down and 6 run goes for maybe a yard from Miles Anthony. 3rd down and 5.
I think that's a big reason why you still see all of the seniors and the starters still in the game. Normally, in a situation where you're up 20 or more, this is usually a situation where they would come out and rest. But, you know, they're mostly in there just to manage the game, manage the clock, just to make sure that Westminster isn't able to get any closer than where they are right now. You still can afford to be aggressive, but you just got to keep adding on.
Kuda keeps it himself. He won't get the first, but it might be a try on 4th down given the spot of the football inside Titan territory at the 46. Well, the marker's at the 46. They'll spot the ball at the 47, 4th and 1. They'll keep the offense out there. Kuda in the shotgun. Movement up front. Titans think it's a false start. The Spartans think it was encroachment. I think both have a case, but it did look like the white jerseys moved first. It's against the Titans, first down.
And again, timely penalties. This is why they hurry to the line. See, they tried to really bait Westminster into doing that, and Westminster took the bait right off of the hook and self-inflicted first down there.
All 4 men up front, you looked at that replay, all 4 of them moved.
That's right.
Now, Ryan Merlau did flinch, but it wasn't until after all 4 men up front in white jerseys encroached on the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the 42, 10:45 to go in the ball game. They will hand it off for not much. The give was to Jeffrey Brown Jr. So we were talking about playoffs. We told you that a win today by Thomas More and a loss by Grove City would mean that the Spartans would officially not be able to count on the tiebreaker for strength of schedule should they end up in a tie with Washington and Jefferson. Well, Grove City losing in the 3rd quarter, 29-14. Thomas More has beaten Teal 56-7. So the Spartans need a Washington and Jefferson loss to outright win the conference. This is Jeffrey Brown Jr. again on 2nd down and 10. Spins forward for a gain of about 3 inside the 40. Now that is assuming the Spartans hang on today and defeat Carnegie Mellon. But long story short, it looks like at best case scenario, should the Spartans and Presidents end up tied, then all tiebreakers would be tied as well, and they would have a co-championship, and both teams would likely get an NCAA bid to the playoffs. This is Anthony on 3rd and 7, getting very little.
It would definitely be exciting for the Spartans to finish the season out that way, but they will have to do it on the road, and really tough customer in Carnegie Mellon as well. These last 2 games are going to be a big-time challenge for the Spartans, but fortunately, throughout the course of the year, they've had all kinds of time to prepare, and not only that, they are as healthy as they have ever been, and that has been an asset to the Spartans team this season.
4th and 4, Kuda to Fan for a first down. On 4th and 4, they convert. They've been very good at doing that this year. 8 of 18, 44% coming into today.
Just a simple little slant route to Fan, and you know that last year's conference MVP, Rob Kuda, able to make all the throws and all the plays at all the exact times.
1st and 10 from the 28. Brown Jr. in the backfield with Aguilar. Handoff is to Brown. And Brown on the first down run gets a couple. I misspoke, by the way. They would lose, the Spartans would lose, as I was mentioning before, the tiebreaker, and so it would be Washington and Jefferson who would win the conference. Again, assuming that Grove City does lose to Bethany today, as they are losing at the moment.
And another thing, Andrew, what a difference in halves that we had. We saw Westminster's offense on the field for 20 of the first 30 minutes. Polar opposite situation here with the Spartan offense staying on the field for the bulk of the second half.
2nd and 6 from the 24. Handoff to Brown again. Brown slips away from a tackle. Off the right edge. Stiff arms, but tripped up anyway. First down run inside the 15 to the 13.
Yeah, and as tempting as it was for Jeffrey Brown to continue to push forward, it's important to just stay in bounds and make sure that that clock is still running, because he's getting close to the sideline towards the end of the play right there, but just make sure that you fall down in between those markers so that you keep the clock continuing to move.
Todd Jeter makes the tackle, and the second unit will come onto the field, at least part of it. Ryan Coolidge will take over the offense from senior quarterback Rob Kuda. 3 wide set. Anthony in the backfield with Aguilar. Aguilar will push up front as Anthony gets the football.
And the big goal for guys like Anthony and Jeffrey Brown, who are now going to be getting the bulk of the carries with Burke's day most likely done is just ball security. You know, just keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock rolling, keep the ball out of harm's way, and just continue to try to push forward and see what you can get, but just make sure that you do not turn the ball over.
J.P. Wassman comes in at fullback. 12 seconds on the play clock for Coolidge. 38-10, Spartans leading. Flag flies after the handoff to Anthony. Ryan Coolidge, by the way, does not have a touchdown pass this year. And he didn't have one last year either. Played some wide receiver last season. Product of St. Ignatius College Prep in Chicago. Spartans backed up on the penalty. So he's in search of his first touchdown pass of his young career. He'll be in a quarterback battle in the offseason for the starting job after Rob Kuda graduates. That'll partially be decided in spring ball, partially in training camp. Coolidge, the sophomore, with Wassman, the lone man in the backfield. Tulloch, the wide receiver, to the near side, 3 on the far. 2nd and 19 from the 23. Coolidge will take off with it. He has the seam, and Jeter takes him down inside the 15, down at the 13-yard line.
Well, if you're Westminster, you know that with a much less experienced quarterback in Coolidge, that he's definitely going to be more of a threat to run than he is to throw. So that's something you have to be aware of, and you have to take that into account. But you know, they really did not do it that time and are able to pick up a big chunk of yardage.
3rd and 9 from the 13. Whitty on the far side with Peterson and Morgan. Tulloch on the near side, and Wassman the lone setback. Coolidge will again run it on 3rd and 9. He's met with resistance and gets 2 yards down to the 11. 4th down. Kicking unit coming out. Ben Carniol will try his second field goal of the afternoon.
Well, despite the fact that the Spartans will settle for 3 here, this was an incredibly successful drive. I mean, when we went into the 4th quarter, you know, on this drive, and we've already cut it down inside of 5 minutes. So that was a job well done by the Spartans first and pieces of the second unit winding that clock down.
Carniol's kick, good for the second time. 4:38 to go in regulation, and the Spartans take a 41-10 lead. Hey fans, are you following Spartan Athletics on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram? Follow us at Case Athletics and use the hashtag BlueCrew. That's the hashtag BLUECWRU. Use hashtag BlueCrew to join the conversation. So playoff picture rounding into form. Washington and Jefferson now with under 5 to play, leading Geneva 24-10. So any hopes that the Spartans might see W&J lose today pretty much going by the wayside, and any hopes that Washington and Jefferson will lose next week are unfounded. They're facing 1-7 Waynesburg. And so it's likely that W&J, with a better strength of schedule, will go undefeated and win the PAC title and the automatic qualifier outright. Thomas More again winning today, so that helps out W&J. Grove City losing at the moment to Bethany 29-14 in the 3rd quarter. That hurts the Spartans. And so even if the Spartans close this out, looks like they will, 4:38 left, up 41-10 as the kick is fielded by DeAndre Jansen. Goes down just past the 30. Even if they close this out, even if the Spartans win next week, which is no guarantee at all, against another difficult opponent, Carnegie Mellon, you could toss a coin between which is more tough, Westminster or CMU. On the road, Academic Bowl, longtime UAA rival, now a PAC rival. Even if they win that game, the Spartans would, in all likelihood, still lose out on the PAC title unless something drastic happens, and they'd have to settle for an at-large bid from the committee. New quarterback in for Westminster. Shaman Walker is running things. That handoff to Christian Ferraro. 4 minutes left to play. Time for us to once again thank our terrific crew who's been with us all year. Brian Landers, Brian Trail on the cameras. Davey Barris on replay. Mike Becker, our producer and director. Christian Ferraro off the edge to the right on 2nd and 3. He'll get the first. Also want to thank Shayna Perlman, Reggie Carter, who have been here all year. The terrific work that they have done with us. Producing these games, we could not do it without them. All of the wonderful pictures and replays that you see. Eddie and I thank all of you very much for all your work this year. 1st and 10 from the 44. Shamon Walker under center. 2 wide out set, under 3.5 to play. Walker, almost a botched handoff. Ferraro does take it off tackle right and taken down.
You know, and Andrew, just putting this into perspective for the Spartans defensively, it was a very bend but don't break type of situation. I mean, they did take advantage of scenarios where, Westminster might come up with a big play and then they have a penalty, you wipe that out, or a turnover or whatever it may be. But, we talk so much about how the Spartans' identity is offense. Well, defensively, they're mighty good as well, and they just did not allow much to the Titans today.
That has to make head coach Greg Debelak very happy. Shamon Walker gets the edge on the outside, taken down by Joshua Smith. Speaking of Coach Debelak, 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from winning his 100th game as the head coach of the Spartans.
Definitely a huge milestone for him, but just in listening to what he had to say in the pregame interview, he is just hyper focused on finishing this season at 10-0 and putting this team in the best position for an at-large bid.
Ferraro on 1st down. Picks up a couple. Chris is helping out on the takedown. There is Coach Debelak, 99 and 42 in his 14th season as the head man of the Spartans. It's the only head coaching job he has known. The graduate of John Carroll in 1988. And this is one of the most successful teams he has coached, next to the 2007 to 09 teams that were honored a couple of weeks ago right here at DeSanto Field. Shamon Walker dropping back to pass and looking deep. Good ball, but broken up. Looking for Nick Henderson, and great coverage on the outside by Luke Bedell.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correctly, Luke Bedell had an interception early on in the season. He doesn't see a whole lot of time, but when he does, he's able to bust up a lot of passes. He definitely has a bright future and will definitely compete for one of the 2 cornerback positions when Adrian Cannon's time is done at season's end.
Sophomore out of St. Peter's Prep in Chatham, New Jersey. He's from Chatham. St. Peter's Prep not in Chatham. 3rd and 8 from the 42. Pass out near side. Well delivered by Shamon Walker. Catch made on the near sideline by Jake Gard. 1:17 left to go. That's a 1st down pass from Walker. Clock starts again after they replace the football. Handoff Ferraro to the middle. He's had a nice little game since coming in and getting a few carries. Close to another 1st down. 2nd down and short. 2nd and 1 to go. Under a minute to play. Walker with Ferraro on his right hip. 3 wide. He'll step up. Walker, pressure coming. Thrown to the middle. Batted away, it looked like, on a diving effort across the middle. Incomplete.
I think that the secondary players for the Spartans in on defense at the moment, they know that this drive still has a lot of relevance. You definitely want to limit the points as much as you can as far as rankings are concerned and making that score look appealing to the staff that ranks these teams.
Bedell in coverage. The diving play was made by Joshua Smith, though I'm not sure either got a hand on it, as Ferraro takes the 3rd and 1 run up the middle. That should about do it. And the Spartans mobbing head coach Greg Debelak. They just gave him the ice and water bath. 30 seconds left. Shamon Walker running it. He'll get near the first down before he's wrestled to the turf. You heard the big scream and the eruption on the near side. There's Coach Debelak with the ice around him, and he is soaked. 25 seconds away from becoming the first head coach in Spartans history to reach the 100 win mark. Timeout by Westminster. Nobody's come even close, Eddy.
No, and I do believe that when he caught, I believe it was either win number 37 or 38 in his career, somewhere in that ballpark, that it was 37. That's when he became the all-time winningest head coach in Spartan history, and needless to say, that was many, many years ago. So, he's an absolute living legend here in Spartanville, and definitely will continue to be going forward, and definitely also has a bright future. Still a lot left to play for this season.
Past Jim Chapman with his 37th win. Chapman was the head coach for 5 seasons from 82 to 86. Now Coach Debelak, not only the winningest coach by leaps and bounds, but 25 seconds away from win number 100 on his career. Shamon Walker will pass, a fade to the back corner. Bedell breaks it up. Looking for Joe Joy. Second down. Coming out of the timeout. Westminster has 2 timeouts left, but the Spartans lead 41-10. This one, like Greg Debelak, on ice.
That's right. And a big, big future for Bedell. I'd really be surprised if he wasn't the starting corner at one of the 2 cornerback positions for next year.
Walker stepping up to pass on 2nd and 10. Now looks like he will run. And he'll get taken down. The Spartans want to block in the back penalty. They won't get it, but they'll see the clock run all the way down on this one. Case Western Reserve University remains undefeated with a 41-10 victory over Westminster College on Senior Day. Head coach Greg Debelak with win number 100.